Oosh, my hair is crazy long. Oh, somebody's here. Hi, Ashley. How you feel? Oh, I almost tipped you over, Ashley. Oh my gosh. Hi, Ashley. How you feeling? These are the beaches I grew up with. I know a lot of you on the other side grew up with very different beaches. The sun is out. It's still a little cold. This time of year it is. See all the little buggies around? Those don't bother us though. How are you? Are you feeling better? I'm eating mac and cheese. Not feeling good. Mac and cheese is good comfort food. So I hope that makes you feel better. Sorry, I woke up after sleeping in the car. My hair's like crazy. Yeah, how are you? I just thought I'd do a pop-up live for a minute, see who was around. These are the kind of beaches that I grew up in. Very different than the beaches in Brazil and the beaches in other places. Rocks, seaweed, sand. You always wore shoes. You always had water shoes. I think when we were littler, we used to go sometimes barefoot, but not very often. We always had an old pair of tennis shoes, and it didn't seem to matter that our feet were wet. We'd spend all day with wet feet, wet shoes. A lot of times we didn't wear socks or anything. Going for a test very soon on the 21st. Oh, Ashley, I hope everything turns out fine. I know health problems can be like a worry, very worrisome. Very, very worrisome. I know they can be. We all have them. I know I'm ignoring a letter I got. I have to go get my eyes looked at again. Yeah, they're watching the cataracts. And then this droopy stuff, see this? This will eventually get, and they'll cut it and they'll pull it back up. I know they'll do that because they just did it. Excuse me. They just did it to my mom. And it's really funny. It's because I have the same eye doctor. And though my mother is 18 years older than me, he looked at me and he says, "Oh, gee, you have your mother's eyes." I said, "No, I don't. My eyes are blue." He says, "Oh, no, that's not what I'm talking about." So, hi, Guido. How are you? I'm at Pillars Point on the way to Nia Bay. I just thought I'd stop for a while because I don't think people understand how our beaches are here. A lot of people go to the beach to lay in their bikini and play in the sand. And though, you know, on the ocean side, we do have some very sandy beaches and some sandy, very rocky beaches. If you head down more towards Oregon, they're more sandy. But these are the beaches I grew up in. These are the beaches I played in. Used to swim in the water all the same with the seaweed and with the seals, and you know, we didn't mess with them, they didn't mess with us. I thought it was so cute, the kids who wanted to go down and see the sea lions, who were not the kids, Scott kids, the Scott kids. No, it's the Scott's kids. No better. Wow, burping and everything today, man, guys. It's not McDonald's coffee. I'm blaming it on the McDonald's coffee. I keep thinking I want to cut all my hair off. It's just getting so much to take care of while I'm out and about. But, you know, it took me a while to get it this long. It was a while. It's pretty here, isn't it? It's quiet. You hear the birds? You hear me yakking. No one's around. There's a forgotten little boat over here that is just full of fishing, old ripped up fishing nets, and there's a trailer that's been left. I should go check the date on that trailer. That would be interesting. There's a cooler half full of stuff with the lid's broken off. Ooh, see, there's even some net out on in the rocks. That should all be cleaned up. But this is a park, and I get worried about moving things because I don't know what belongs to who, and if someone's been using it for a while. But I'm surprised that it's allowed to be there. There's a big dumpster full of nets too. I wonder if just a lot of nets wash up here. I don't know. It's pretty here though. It's a bit foggy. It would be really nice if it wasn't. You guys would be able to see all over the place, but you can't. Here, I'll turn you a little bit so you can see this way a little bit too. I don't know if you can. How's that looking? See over that way? Okay, I'm trying to do this on a tripod so it's not so shaky. If it was clear and not foggy, you'd be able to see way over there and all the land that's over there. There's tons of stuff, right? See the boat over there? That boat is full of fishing nets. But this is what our beaches look like. If you turn over rocks, there'd be all kinds of stuff under the rocks. I just wanted to pop on live for a little bit and let you guys see where I'm at, where I'm exploring. I don't know how far I'll get today or what I'll get done today. I'm planning on being home tonight though. We'll see. I want to get back over to the ocean, but I want to also spend time here. I feel like there's been so much of the day already, but there really hasn't, because it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock, right? So there's still a lot of time. But hi Sue, how are you? Just wanted to say hi to guys and see how you guys are doing. Yeah, and it smells good. You know, that ocean, beachy, seaweed smell. I guess there's probably a lot of people who don't like it, but I like it. It's childhood. It's the smell of childhood, right? Yeah, I can remember not only the area where we stayed or lived was like this. We would go to my great grandma's when we were going there, and we only stayed in the garage. We didn't ever go in the house because the house hadn't been lived in for a long time and was so full of rats and other stuff that and mice and stuff like that. And so it has this smell. The smell has all kinds of memories. Hi Mama, how are you? And I can remember, like, we all smell like that, right? That seaweed sort of. I mean, there's people who absolutely can't stand that smell, right? But I remember it from childhood, from freedom. We had so much freedom. I'm serious. This is the Strait of Juan de Fuca, okay? And we would take our boats out there. Not here. The ocean's right there. The ocean's right there, okay? But we were way back in the islands over here in the Strait. Just off the Strait, and we would take a 12-foot aluminum Sears and Roebuck boat, and we would go out in the water, and we would go anywhere we wanted to go. Didn't matter. We'd be gone all day, and we always had the life jackets in the boat. Never on our bodies. Oh, that would be like safety. And I can remember the Coast Guard catching up with us every so often and yelling at us, "Does your mom and dad know where you are?" Yes, of course they do. We're out there. Those life jackets should be on you. I'm going to tell your grandpa. Everybody knew my grandpa because my grandpa was the head of the ferry boat. He was the ferry boat captain for Lummi Island all those years. And so everybody knew we belonged to them, and everybody knew we were fishy, so we could swim like crazy. We go take our boat out, and we had the motor on. And sometimes my mom would kick us out. She said, "Get out of here, go, get out in the water, see you later." Nope, do not use that engine unless you need to. So we would be rowing around the island. She'd go like, once around. She'd never say once around, she just would go. We'd row and row and row. And I can remember all summer my hands were sore and blistery, and by the end of summer, they had blisters, and blisters. Not blisters, I'm sorry, calluses, where the blisters had finally subsided. And by the end of summer, our hands were just like rough. It was just like leather, right? Because we'd be out there rowing and rowing and rowing. And as you go around the island, everybody knew us because of Grandpa. Our great uncles lived there and stuff too. And I always remember the one old man who'd sit on his porch and he'd yell out, "Hey, are you guys in trouble again, or is your motor broken?" You would think he meant, were we in trouble because the motor was broken, right? And that's why we were rowing? No. He knew that when Mom had had enough, we weren't allowed to use the motor unless we had to. We had to go out and row and row and row and row and row and go around and around. It was tiring. No, it worked. We were just on rowing restriction or whatever you want to call it, because my mom wanted some of that energy out. and lots of acreage there because they own the whole point. And then at that time, great grandma owned a whole bunch of the acreage too. When she passed away, things started getting divided up, so it wasn't the same. Okay, and this is my memory of it, right? Everybody remembers a little different. Um, but we had cots. We slept on cots in the garage, and they were just your basic Army surplus stuff, right? But we would take our cots and we'd take them out into the middle of the field, and we'd sleep there at night too. It never bothered us. There was on Point Mangley is a eagle's nest, and this is when I was a kid. They were highly endangered. Okay, and it was very, very rare to see bald eagles. But we had a nesting pair, and I don't know if you know this, but bald eagles do not nest in the same place every year. They rotate around, right? And Western Washington University is up there, and they used to come. We would show up right at the beginning of summer, and they would have people out there watching the eagles. Hi, remember us from last year? Da 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 da. We're out watching them, and it's like, yeah, go ahead. So we'd always find these people in lawn chairs with binoculars out in the field watching the eagles, right? And it was just cool. I remember always seeing them fish and that stuff. I can remember getting there, and the first thing we did when we got there is we didn't do anything. We didn't unload anything. I remember Mom yelling at us. We just ran. We ran down to the pond, down to the, tide pools, because we had Henrietta down there. And Henrietta was one of those big red sea urchin things, right? And she started off really small, and she'd get bigger and bigger every year. She never went away. And when we were there, we'd go get her little things to eat. We'd catch things and feed them to her. And we used to do that all the time. But that was the first thing we'd go to see if she was there. And I do remember one year she wasn't anymore. But by the time she wasn't, she was so big. You know what I mean? When we left the year before. I don't know why. She probably went out to deeper water or somewhere else. Because they do. They can replant themselves somewhere. But we used to go out there, and I had the best kid memories there because we were free. We were free. We had no electronics, no TV. We had BB guns. We were allowed to shoot them too. We were allowed to shoot the sparrows. Okay. We would spend hours trying to shoot the sparrows. My kill ratio on sparrows, a big goose egg. Windows? Yes, I shot 2 windows, but I missed the sparrows. I've never hit a sparrow. But I tried for hours. That was, before anything. Okay, and then we used to take our boat out, and there's a rock island out in the middle of the bay there. You could see it on Google Earth. You can go and look up Point Mangley, Lummi Island, and find Point Mangley, and then look into the bay, and you'll see this big rock island. And so our property was all this, and the rock island, it was all this and up and around and all that. But if you look, you'll understand what I mean. And the rock island used to be full of seals, and in between that and that was a kelp bed. We didn't think anything about kelp then, we would just go swim out to the island with the seals. There's always so much seagull poop on it though. So we had shoes on, just wash our hands in the salt water. We weren't convinced that salt water washed off anything. Okay? Well, washed all of us. We were always salty. I remember coming home and my arms and my legs being so cracked. They had blood coming out of them because of that. Anyway. So we would swim out to the rock island where the seals were, and we knew better than to touch them or try and approach them in any way, shape, or form. When we were swimming, they'd be around us. They never touched us. We never touched them. We never had a problem with it. That was just the rules, right? Flat out. You do not touch the seals. Anyway, but they would be swimming around us when we were swimming there, and we'd swim out in the kelp beds and stuff like that, and we didn't think anything of it. We had hand jiggers, and there was a jigging lure on it that was about this big. It had a weight and a fancy little thing here. And then it was a hand jigger, so it was not a fishing pole, but it was this like plastic block like this that had the fishing line wrapped around it. So you let it out and you go in the bay and you jig for cod. We used to do that all the time. We'd catch all kinds of cod. We used to walk around the beach and pick up all the mussels too. Tons of mussels. Remember the best dinners were cod and mussels. Yeah. All that was always cooked on a camp stove because we didn't go in the house. And then there was, on the point, there was all these big trees. And you go down this, there was a path this way and a path that way. And you can get down to the other beach that way. And our beach was the one we had played on the most was this way that had Seal Rock. We called it Seal Rock. Pretty sure it's not the name, but that's what we called it. Anyway, so my dad and mom built this path out in the middle of the woods and put up, they used driftwood, and then they used big sheets of plywood, and they blocked off this big square area, and then they dug a big pit. On the pit, they put 2 boards this way, and then 2 longer boards that way, one, and then there was an opening. And there was always a roll of toilet paper in a plastic bag there. That was a pit toilet. Okay, you just put your legs on both sides, squat down, and go to the bathroom, right? You do whatever you needed to do. That was the pit toilet. And then if you went number 2, you grab some of the dirt from the pile of dirt that they dug out, and you dumped it on top of it. And we spent years using that for a bathroom all summer. We thought nothing of it. It was no big deal, right? But the cool part of it, this is the part I thought was cool. It was so long that 3 people could go potty at one time. Well, that's a thing to say. But when you're a 7-year-old kid, that's kind of cool. Let's go potty and then let's go out and finish adventuring, right? But I remember that we'd all just run out there, go potty real quick, and then take off. Oh my. The pit toilet. And then you get back to town and you explain that to people, and they just think you're crazy, right? That's also where I started talking to dead people who weren't there, to the ghosts. And I had totally forgotten that when I was an adult until, I can't remember why my brother came and got me, but I was a young adult and very pregnant. And my brother and I ran up there for the day. I think my dad was marrying another one of his wives up there, or something happened to somebody up there. I can't even remember what the reason we were there. But I was standing next to my brother, and we were underneath over by the eagle tree. And he said to me, "Are they still there?" I said, "Yeah, but they're not happy." And then it went click, click. Oh my gosh. How many years have I been talking to the spirits up there? I used to talk to them. I used to go sit out on the point. Again, look it up on Google Earth and you'll see it. Big rock point. I used to go sit out way at the end of the point, and I'd sit there for hours talking to the ghosts, to the spirits. I don't know if they were really there or if I was doing what I'm doing now. I was just talking to myself and you guys, But I used to do that. I used to do that all the time, and I don't know why I forgot about it. Maybe it's because, I started hitting 14, 15, and 16, and then people think you're crazy. People always thought I was a weird little kid anyways. So, no one would have questioned me sitting out there talking to myself, okay? Because I already couldn't read and write, remember that. I didn't learn to read and write until I was 12. So I spent a lot of time in my head. And then I wasn't a noisy child either. I was very quiet. They figured out when I was young that I wasn't hearing at all. That's when they took my tonsils and adenoids out and that kind of stuff, which is weird. So weird. And then to be, in my 20s and have my brother say that to me, it was just weird. And it was really funny because I can remember just standing there, and it was just like, well, they're not happy. And it was like, I never thought about that before. And then I hear about people on YouTube and stuff, exploring haunted places and stuff like that. I don't know, guys. I don't know if you should be doing that. That's not safe. I don't know. It's all weird. Childhood memories, they just are strange, right? Anyway, so I am heading to Nia Bay today. Is anybody still there? I think we have 4 people. Yeah, the spiritual stuff scares people away. Hey, maybe they were just the voices in my head I was talking to, because, you know, when you cannot read and write and you are a certain age and you are expected to behave and sit for hours a day in a classroom, your brain has to get very creative, right? In order to entertain yourself enough to sit there for hours and hours and not have an idea what's going on. See, I'm losing everybody really quick. We're down to 2. So, is it just voices in my head? Was I really talking to spirits? Was I just entertaining myself? My mother said I was the kid who could make up the best stories. And she told one of my teachers that, and when there was a paper to write, I always got the teacher volunteer, and the teacher volunteer would say, tell me a story, and she'd write it all out for me. Because I wasn't going to learn to read or write. They knew that. They knew that there was a special class in 7th grade, and when I got to 7th grade, I'd get to there, right? They knew that. They didn't want to put me in the quote-unquote in those days. We've had this talk before, and I know this word offends so many people. If this offends you, I am sorry, but this is what happened, okay? In those days, we were all called retarded, okay? So I wasn't, and adults would say this, and it's like, I can hear you. I'm not stupid. I just can't read and write. I know exactly what you're talking about. And in little voices, they'd always say, oh, she's so pretty. She's so cute. It's a shame she's retarded. Yeah, but at least she's not retarded enough for the retarded school. Okay. Oh my gosh. Learning disabilities. You kids who have a learning disability in this day and age, you are so fortunate. Because people just don't think you're dumb, okay? They just think your brain is different, okay? And my brain, well, yeah, off the chart difference. Maybe a few of you are going to laugh at that and say, you know, Kelly, your brain is way the hell out there. I know. You guys are going to say that. Somebody here is going to say that. And that's okay, because it's taken me a long time to understand that I am so blessed that my brain thinks differently. Right? I am so blessed. My brain thinks differently. Because that makes me who I am. Well, the last time I was out here at Nia Bay was probably 30 years ago. And I don't know why, I was feeling anxious. And really anxious. And I was married to my second husband at the time. We used to come and drive around all kinds of places, and it's hard to find somebody who's patient with my type of craziness. It is, it really is. I shouldn't say craziness, my type of differentness, because I am different. And that's okay, I learned that a long time ago, and I learned that that's okay. And I want to share that with you guys. If you guys are different than the norm, whatever that means. Thank God I'm not Norm. If your name is Norm, I'm sorry, I'm just teasing. I really am. Don't be offended. Okay. But if you are different from the norm, from the average, if your mind works differently, if your brain works differently, if you have learning disabilities, ooh, if you have attention span issues, which I have all of those, okay? Feel blessed, because you were put on this earth so we could shake up the norm. So hi, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to tell a little bit about myself, and my brain can only handle so many tracks at once. But I love all you guys who are coming in. Feel blessed that you're different. Don't let anybody tell you differently. And don't let people tell you you're broken. I am broken, if you want to think about that, because I am not normal. I am not Norm. My name is Grandma Kelly. My name is Kelly Mae McDonald. And I am not norm. I am not normal. I am not average. I am different. And I have been blessed with being different so I can see and feel things other people can't. You know, I have spent my whole life feeling people. I feel you when I'm with you. I get tired. I do. Okay? I get tired. And I don't mean that to be a bad thing. Okay? But when I'm around you physically next to you, I feel you. And I have trouble being in huge groups of people because all these feelings are coming in at once. And I get tired and I get hit my emotional limits. And that's not a bad thing. That's just how I function. Okay? And I just love being able to be there. And my big thing is touching you somehow, physically touching you and listening to you. And some people don't like to be touched, or some people holding hands is too intimate, or some people um, touching their shoulders or giving them a hug is too intimate. Okay, it's too much. Okay, and maybe it feels violating to them. I don't know, because I like to touch you somehow, even if it's just touch your arm when I talk to you, and I feel you. It's like it goes right into me. What's in you? Does that make sense, or is that really crazy off the wall? Let's see how quick this drops down again. Okay, I choose to think that people are losing signal, not that they're running away because Kelly's being spiritual again. But I do get tired. Okay. The weekend with Scott was beautiful, and all those kids were amazing. And being out on the dock with everybody, not just Scott's group, but everybody out on the dock was so amazing. Okay. But by the time the weekend was over, I was tired. I just went to the beach with the big lighthouse and sat there and cried for a while. And it's not that I'm upset or that anything, but it's like I'm too full. Like, get out emotions. Too full. Too full of mine, too full of everybody else's. It's like I'm a sponge. Does that make sense? And this is me getting to know me and me being very honest with you guys. Okay? And most people won't be this honest with you. Most people will hide. And I have spent years, I have what I call this little girl inside me. And I have what I've made into being different personalities inside me. They're not different personalities. I don't have a problem with multi-personality syndrome or whatever you want to call it. I don't have that. I just have different parts of me that I recognize as different parts of me, right? Okay? So inside of me, I have this little girl I argue with constantly because she has these blocks, and this is how I see her in my brain. And no, I know it's just part of me talking to me. Okay, I'm not that crazy. Well, okay, maybe, but that's another day. And that's an opinion for you. Hi, Jonathan, how are you? Anyway, so I have this little girl from the time I was little who builds these block walls to keep people out. She builds. That's what she does. She builds. Don't let people get to know you. They won't like you. You are crazy. No, I don't. Let me build these walls. And my wall is good, guys. My wall is great and strong. But in recent times, I talked to somebody who walked right through my walls. And that scared the crap out of me. And the little girl inside me is holding her little trowel and a brick and looking at me going like, what the hell happened there, Kelly? Why did you let that happen? Because it's time. It's time for the walls not to be there. Okay, nobody can hurt me. I don't care what you guys say about me. I don't care. I mean, nobody's going to say anything bad about me anymore. And if you do, it doesn't hurt me anymore. I can't be hurt more than I've already been hurt, you guys. I've had a long life of being called retarded and stupid and other things. But I'm neither of those. I'm perceptive. I feel. I may not have the words to say eloquently things. Shoot, I self-destruct all the time. I get scared and I purposely push people away. Yeah, how many of you do that? I do that. Man, There's different levels of intimacy in me, okay? And I won't let you guys get so far, so close to me. But there was one person who walked straight through it all, and I went, don't say that word. And that scared the crap out of me, and I made sure that destructed. And now I'm going to pay the price. But that's okay, because I'm going to fix it. I don't know how yet, but I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm not going to self-destruct again. I refuse to. Well, it's not self-destructing. That sounds like, I'm going to go jump off a ledge. I'm never going to jump off a ledge. Jeez, guys. I value life. I value life. I'm going to live forever. I joke with my kids and I say, I'm going to live long enough to make your life miserable. They know I'm just teasing them. One of my sons I haven't seen for a while because we had a problem in our family. And I'm not ready to talk about that. That's not my story to talk about. He used to say to me, well, should we go coffin shopping now? It's like, dude, you don't even know. You're not miserable yet. Just you wait. And he'd laugh and I'd laugh. Oh, man. Where were we? We were talking about Lummi Island. I'll take you guys to Lummi Island someday. I'll take you around the cemetery. You can see all my dead relatives. I had a grandpa who used to live on Waldron Island. Look at that. No way to get to Waldron Island, but by private boat. I can remember going there as a kid, too. Okay, there were rules at Waldron Island. Very specific rules. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. That's before our great-grandpa McDonald. We belonged to the Catholic Church. Once he moved in with a neighbor lady, we were kicked out of the Catholic Church, and we went Episcopalian. Father Webb used to say, I used to say, well, what's the difference, Father Webb? Because we're Episcopalians, right? And he's an Episcopalian pastor. What's really the difference? Because they wear the dresses, and they do, he used to call them dresses. They wear the dresses, the robes. And they do all the ritual like the Catholic does and all that other stuff. And they have very planned sermons at certain dates, just like the Catholic does. And I used to say, Father Webb, so what's the difference? And he'd say, first of all, I get to get married. That rocks. He was married to a very nice lady. I was so sad when she passed away. Anyway, and he said, second of all, you get to get divorced. Not annulled, divorced. So as a kid, we used to take the boat up to, because we were already on Lummi Island, and we'd go with my parents. We never went by ourselves. Waldron Island is one of the more outer islands. Okay, outer island, closer to the ocean. We knew not to go there. Okay, we've been drilled and drilled and drilled. You do not go too far that way because the ocean's that way. Stay this way. Your 12-foot boat isn't going to make it. Okay. So some of you parents are going, oh my gosh. But yes, we were out in the Puget Sound, which can get almost as bad as the ocean at any given moment. It turns like this. When I was 7, I'd go out by myself. I wouldn't always wait for my siblings. We'd just go. It wasn't a big deal. We never told anybody where we were going either because we were at the island. But anyway, so we would get in Tadpole. That was my dad's boat. It was green, and it had this hood thing on it, for rain, the rain hood thing. And it always reminded us of a tadpole. So we called it Tadpole. I know my dad had another name for it, but I can't remember. But we'd bomb across out to Waldron Island with that because he had, the big, huge motor. And here was Grandma. Now, they are my great-grandma and Grandpa, but we call them Grandma. We don't differentiate. We just call you Grandma or Grandpa. Here was Grandma's house. And here was Grandpa and his girlfriend's house. Were they still married? Absolutely. Catholic Church. They're married till they die. When Grandma died, he did marry Elisa, which was nice. And Grandpa and his girlfriend. So you always had to go to Grandma's house first. Okay? It didn't matter if Grandpa was out there. You did not look at him. You walked right past him to Grandma's house and said, talk to her first. He knew this. It made everything more peaceful if you went to Grandma's house first. So you sat in there and visited with Grandma and stuff like that, and eventually as kids would get rowdy and go out, and Grandpa would be out. And then after that, we could go over to Grandpa and Elisa's house and visit with them. I was a kid. I was 7, 8, 9 when this would happen. We knew the rules, right? And they had this. There's this big frame thing that sort of announced the house. You know, Grandma's house that was out there was. They have them in ranches all the time, but this was out on the beach, okay? But they're just like the big gates in the ranches, right? Not an opening gate here, but it went wood up and wood across. Now remember, this is Waldron Island. This is 50 years ago. You didn't go to the grocery store very often, right? I know they had a little trading post store there, but it wasn't much. But I can remember, this is one of my memories, and Grandpa always made fish head soup. The eyeballs were the best part. Oh! It didn't dawn on me that they were that poor. They ate everything. You ate everything when you lived on the islands, okay? Because there wasn't much money and there wasn't much food. And the growing season is very short. And the amount of animals to kill on the island is very few, right? Yeah, you is right. Yuck, fish head soup, eat the fish eyeballs. Oh, gosh, no. So I was playing on this thing, and I went across it like this, and I put my hand flat down on a nail and got stuck. That was the one and only time I saw Grandpa and Grandma in the same space. She yelled for Grandpa. Grandpa came running. He picked me up. My dad got up and moved my hand off it. This is what I remember. And then you know what they did? This was amazing. Grandma ran and got aloe vera plant. Okay, she rubbed the aloe vera plant all over my hand, all over it. Okay, and wrapped it all up. You know, when I got home, I planted aloe vera plants. Up until real recently, I've always had an aloe vera plant at home. Because when there's no medicine around, that actually works. And yeah, we'd had our tetanus shots updated. We were the island beach kids. We could get in any kind of trouble. Tetanus shots, requirement. On schedule, sooner. Much like today. Anyway. Well, I thought I'd share some about me and about my memories and about my growing up. Remember, it's my memories, my growing up. And I say that because maybe my sister would have seen it differently. Maybe my brother would have seen it a lot differently. I saw it, total freedom. Man, total freedom. I couldn't wait for the prison of school to end. Remember, I couldn't read, couldn't write. I couldn't wait. And how did we take showers? Well, every so often, Mom made us stand underneath the garden hose. Okay, but mostly we swam all the time in the salt water. All the time in the salt water. Every so often, she'd make us stand under the garden hose. No, there was not warm water ever. Man, that was a great time. Such freedom. I am working on getting that freedom again, and it's hard to understand that you could have it as an adult. You got to get some things together first so you can still eat while you're out there. I know there's many van lifers and nomad people who are having trouble, real trouble. Okay, getting enough money on a daily basis just to eat gas to fill up their rig. I won't have a rig because of that. That's what I'm thinking. Until everything's paid off and there's plenty of money. Until YouTube is paying enough money that I can afford to put gas in it. I think I'll sleep in my car. And I think from my car I'll move to a newer car that's maybe hybrid. That's the word I was looking for, hybrid. Sorry, I have to think sometimes to look for words. They just vanish from my mind. I don't know if you guys know, but for a long time I was fluent in both Portuguese and English. And that really messed up the learning disability. Because half the time I couldn't think of the English word, but I could think of the Portuguese word. And then the other half the time I couldn't think of the Portuguese word, but I could think of the English word. Oh my gosh. Depending on what my brain was in. Oh, you guys, it was so funny. Anyway, you can have freedom again. You just have to choose it. So what I was trying to say with that is, I don't know what everybody's financial requirements are. But when I gave up Starbucks, and I know you're going, oh, big sacrifice, Kelly, but hey, you smoke or drink? I gave up Starbucks. And that money that I gave up at Starbucks, I put in memberships to different people. Okay? I put in memberships to different channels to help support them, especially the van life nomad people. Find a van life or a nomad you like. Find out about their life. An extra $10 a month really helps them. Do a membership. If everybody did $1, I'd have over $2,000 a month coming in. Just saying. Not asking you to do it. I don't need that. I don't need that. I need community. I need community to take care of the community more than take care of me. I'll be okay. I'm always okay. Just one thing, even if I have a bad day, you guys, I'm always okay. So don't worry about that. I value life too much not to be okay. I went through that selfish stage already. The woe's me, life is ending. I can't live another day. Oh my gosh, teenage years, hormones. Oh, shoot me, please. No, don't. I made it past that point. I'm not joking when I tell you that if I was as smart as I was when I was 15, oh, holy moly, would I be smart. Oh, you guys, this has been good. I'm going to take a moment and chat with you guys, though. Okay, that's all the story I have for today. I'm storied out. Gray, how are you? Ashley. Oh, yeah, message me, Ashley, because I've been talking and I'm on one device, so I can't do 2 different things at once. Hey, part of what I'm working on this year is I'm going to get down to 135 pounds. I know the camera makes me look so chunky, but it's sideways. You can talk to the people who've actually seen me. I don't have that much farther to go. It just looks like it. And also, too, I'm extremely short. I'm 5'3". Maybe you don't think that's short, but I get around some of these guys and it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, Gray, keep hanging in there. Keep life going. Changes for the better. Little changes, little changes, little changes, little changes. Ooh, look at those wrinkles. Ooh, need some cream. It's okay. I like getting older. Yeah, keep working on yourself, you guys, because you're valuable. And if nobody's told you you're valuable today, I'm telling you, you're valuable. You value a lot. Okay? You are a human being. You're so valuable. Okay? Every human being is. Look for the negative, you find the negative. Look for the positive. Decide how you want to live. I choose to live in the positive most of the time. Every so often I have a boom moment. I'm allowed to. I'm human. Okay? Every so often I look back at something I've done and gone, oh, Jesus, you knew that about yourself. Why'd you do that? Because for years I haven't had to worry about things like that. Yeah, that's okay. Hi, Mama. Oh, yeah, man, you know, I'm a cops kid and my mom is a computer programmer, but she was a computer programmer until we were in our late teens when she finished her school. She used to do data entry and other things. We had a good life. We didn't have lots of money or anything like that. Hi, Kenneth, how are you? And we started working when we were really early in life. We started working, and we started working hard. I used to go to my grandpa's construction sites. Look at this. I used to straighten nails. Took years till I found out figured out I was moving the same pile of garbage around, because my dad would go work with him, and he had the kids that day, you know, when he wasn't doing the policeman work. He had a day off to make extra money. And we would straighten nails and move piles around. But the best part about working with Grandpa, as I got older, I used to still go work for Grandpa, and he wasn't building houses as much anymore, but he had the apartments that he built and apartment complexes, and we'd go work there. And we'd move his piles of junk around. Oh no, we'd be cleaning up the basement downstairs, because you know how those older, you guys probably still have a lot of them. Most of our apartments aren't being built that way anymore. A lot of apartments have big storage areas underneath that are for the tenants. You know, they're in like little cage storage area, and every tenant had their own, and you could put a lock on it and that kind of stuff, right? Okay, my grandpa had 3 apartment complexes. Are you ready? And underneath the apartment complex where the storage units were for the tenants, my grandpa had those places all full of crap. And so what we would do is he'd say, let's go to work, which more meant that he knew we wanted money for something. And he would come get us, and we'd go out to breakfast, and have to meet all the waitresses he flirted with. He's so funny. These are my grandkids. He was so proud of us. And then we'd go work for 2 hours. Then we'd go have lunch. Then we'd work for 2 hours. Then he'd bring us home, and he'd pay us. Okay? And this was 50 years ago. 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And for a kid to get a $50 bill, you couldn't even take that to the store. They'd say, where'd you steal this? No, I worked for it. With my grandpa today. What? But he, did everything in cash, had all kinds of money. Anyway, enough, guys. I need to head out to Neah Bay. Thank you for everybody who stayed around today. Thank you for listening to me. It's about time I get driving in the car again and head farther to Neah Bay. I think I'm slowing down and stopping because my last experience up there wasn't so great. I was hoping to have company to go do this trip, but it's been weighing on my mind, so I decided to just go do it myself. I don't know what bothers me up there, and I want to see if it still does, because maybe it doesn't anymore. Maybe I've grown past it, hopefully, because I've done a lot of accepting of the way I am. I don't do a lot of talking about it. So guys, this was hard for me to talk to you guys about it. The stories of the past, talking to the dead people. We used to joke about it. I mean, I know there's serious spiritualists out there who are like, that's not funny, why do you joke about that? You have a gift. I don't have a gift. I don't even know if it's real, and I don't even know if it's the people in my head. Oh, the people in my head. That's been a family joke for years. But my brain sometimes can't be quiet, and that's why I have trouble sleeping. And I know other people whose brains aren't quiet, and they have trouble sleeping. Okay, I get that. Anyway, I'm going to go see if I'm still afraid. And if I'm afraid, I'm going to still wait and see if I can get, somebody with guns and junk. Bodyguards to go take me up there and see what really is the problem, because it shouldn't be that. Shouldn't be a problem, it's just a place. Any way you look at it, it shouldn't be a problem. It's just a place. Okay, love you guys. I gotta go. It was great talking with you today. See you later.